So, all right, Mr. Chairman, as you said, this is a tentative budget hearing for the 2023, 2024 budget year. It's for it's a tentative budget. It's the announced tentative budget. Millage for this year is 9.0000 mills, and the proposed tentative budget is $163,772,748.
Mr. Clerk, will you please speak up?
Okay.
Thank you.
If you like, I'll repeat that. It's a tentative millage rate for this year is 9.0000 mills, and you have a proposed tentative budget of $163,772,748. The rollback rate is 8.2673 mills. And the proposed proposed millage rate is 8.74 increase from the rollback rate. With that, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Baker. We'll open for public comment. Is there any constitutional officers who need to speak? Any outside agencies? County departments? Anybody from the public? Yes, sir.
I think Ms. Diane for the leave. Ms. Diane leaving. Ms. Diane leaving. Thank her for leaving. Coming. Thank you, Ms. Diane.
Ms. Diane, thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And for Jeff.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. No. Yeah.
Mr. Anika, does this apply to the budget? Yeah. Okay.
True.
Wayne Hanico, 11883 93rd Road. And I want to be very clear to the public that wage freeze was brought up in a discussion at one of the workshops. The only reason I'm really bringing this forward is I just want to give the board my feelings on wage freeze and what concerned citizens feels should or should not happen with wage freeze. Apologize, I have to jump back and forth. All the research that I did suggested that a wage freeze is due to a financial issue, and that it should be a short-term solution, not a long-term solution. There's an article in tab 2, and I'll show you all that in a second. But I really don't feel like this county has a financial crisis that we should be trying to freeze employee wages at this time. With almost $10 million balance bringing forward, and at the end of your last budget meeting, you had 1.674 million and change, almost 72 million and change left in your budget. Wage freeze creates morale problems. And you've all heard here today how everyone has done such a great job in this last week or two. And part of that is because of the senior people that you've got out there that are leading. Our strength is in leadership. And I understand that payroll is a huge concern, and and I heard you, Mr. White, when you said, in my business, I either got to raise prices or I got to lay people off. I think there are a couple other options other than that for this commission. And this commission can be the first to start a progressive thought of what happens with payroll. I think if you start freezing, particularly the upper ranks, you start losing your leadership. Some will leave. Some will fall back and go, well, I'm just going to do my job today. That's it. I'm not doing anything extra. And that happens. So I think you need to find some unique ways. Oh, boy. It's long breath. So what I did is I went to your finance department and asked them to run the top 10% of your employees and what that cost is. And on tab 2, you'll see the one sheet is with a raise, the other is without a raise. The difference is $109,809. So if you froze that top 10%, you would save, round numbers, $110,000 a year. If you think about different ways, there are other ways. You either become more efficient, you raise your price, which no one ever likes to hear that one. But the good part of that is that 1.1% mill rate gives you $250,000 in change per year. Or, on good years like this, instead of putting $1 million in the road department, put $750. Put $250 aside for your employees so that you can defer that cost a little bit. And that $250 would last you 2 years. And maybe next year we don't get one new piece of equipment, but keep funding your employees. I'm just a firm believer that your employees are your biggest asset and your best asset. And when you start trying to limit what they can make, you start limiting what their progress is. And you limit what their initiative is to progress. If I'm the third guy in line from the top, and now the guy at the top is frozen, well, pretty soon I'm going to catch him, and then I'll go, well, I don't want that job. Why would I want that job with more responsibility when I can't get any more money? And what happens with that is that you create a negative cash flow for that employee because now they can't keep up with inflation. We all know if you make $50,000 a year, you live to that $50,000 a year. If you make $100,000 a year, you live to that $100,000 a year. So if you start going backwards on your salary when everybody else is doing fine, it makes you not want to be where you're working. I really just want you to think about that. Take $250,000, put it in a fund for your employees. I've heard it from every one of you tonight how great everybody's done this last couple weeks. And that's true, because you got some really great people. Make the investment to keep those people. I just put this up here because I wanted the public to see what my thought is. And I really think anyone that comes before this board should do the same thing so that the public can see what's going on. I was listening to the financials today and I was like, okay, that's good, but I have no clue what this guy's talking about. If you at least had some kind of PowerPoint or something that so the public can follow. It just makes it a better thing. That's the second thing. The real thing is invest in your employees, find other unique ways to fund that payroll. I know it's huge, and it's going to continue to increase. But if you find different unique ways to fund them, you won't have to worry about that's what's going to drive this county broke. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tentative.
Anybody else from the public wish to comment on the budget, tentative budget? At this time, I'll close public comment. Is there any changes that need to be made to the tentative budget at this time? Seeing none, we'll need to have a vote on the tentative millage rate. Do I have a motion to approve the tentative millage rate at the 9 mills?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Commissioner Hale,
Second.
second by Commissioner Land. All in favor, aye? Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. This time, I'll close the tentative budget hearing and reopen the,
We need the budget.
I'm sorry.
Also. Need to approve the budget also.
oh, sorry, I missed that.
It's item number 2 there, sir.
So do I have a motion to approve the tentative budget?
So moved.
So,
Motion by Commissioner
Second.
Land, second by Commissioner Perkins. All in favor, aye? Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Now I'll close the tentative budget hearing. And we'll now resume the regular county commissioner board meeting. Let's see.